If you want to potentially generate income without increasing downside risk, then consider the covered call strategy. To create a covered call, simply sell one call option for every 100 shares of stock that you own. Selling or writing a call may require you to sell your shares at a set price, referred to as the strike price, up to and including the day of expiration. Since you already own the stock, you need to decide a price at which you feel comfortable selling that stock, and for what length of time you're willing to incur that obligation. You can create a covered call strategy ranging from weeks of coverage using a weekly option to several years of coverage using leaps options. The strategy is most often utilized with shorter-term options that typically expire in under 60 days. Let's look at an example. Your 100 shares of XYZ stock are currently trading for $62 per share. You sell a 65 strike call with 30 days until expiration for $2, which equates to $200 of notional premium per one lot of options. Regardless of what happens to the price of your stock, the amount of option premium is yours to keep. When you sell that call with 30 days of duration against your existing stock position, that option either expires at its expiration date or is exercised. First, let's look at what happens prior to expiration should the stock price rise above the $65 strike price. If the stock price rises above the strike price during the 30-day period, then the option may be exercised, which means you will have to sell your shares at the strike price. You still keep the $200 you received for selling the call. And because you sold your shares at $65 through option assignment, you also make $300 on your stock sale since you owned it from $62 originally. Having your shares called away can happen anytime up to and including the expiration date, because equity options are American-style options that include the possibility of early exercise. Next, let's look at the various scenarios that can occur at expiration. First, assume the stock price is below the $65 strike price at expiration. In this situation, since the call that you sold was out of the money and assuming the stock stays below the $65 strike price at expiration, your call continues to be out of the money and will expire worthless, while you still get to keep the $2 premium you collected when you sold the call. You can also start over again and sell a new call option against the same shares of stock to generate more income. Now, let's assume the stock price is at or above the $65 strike price at expiration. Keep in mind, when you sold the $65 call, you agreed to incur the obligation to sell the stock at the strike price. Assuming the stock is trading $65, giving you a $300 profit on your stock position, and as long as the option does not get exercised, it will expire without value, and you still keep the $200 in premium you received when you sold the call, meaning your total gain is $300 via your stock ownership and $200 via your option sale for a $500 overall profit. But what if after 30 days the stock is trading at $70 per share? In this case, the stock you own is technically up $8 a share. However, since you sold the $65 call and incurred the obligation to sell stock at the strike price, you may be obligated to sell your stock at $65 if your option is assigned. In the case of assignment, even though the stock is trading $70, you are still obligated to sell your stock at $65 per share, therefore netting a profit of $300 on the stock and again, keeping the $200 from the original premium for which you sold the call. In fact, no matter how high your stock rises, your profit is capped at $500. If after 30 days the stock is exactly where you left it, then your gain is easy to calculate. It is the $200 you collected upon selling your option. But stocks rarely stay put. So let's look at other possible outcomes. Suppose the stock price dropped to $56 per share at expiration, a $6 loss per share on your stock. Since you own 100 shares of stock, your total unrealized loss on the stock position would be $600. But since you sold the call option for $200 in notional premium and it expired without value, you keep that $200 and can net it against your $600 loss on the underlying stock position. Your covered call position had a net loss of $400. To learn more about the covered call and other strategies, visit the OIC website, optionseducation.org.